Awesome. We're excited to meet you all.
We hope that you guys can gain some fun tools, skills, and takeaways from today's webinar. All right, we'll start in about a minute. Thanks so much for joining. We're excited about this. We've been practicing. And we've got a lot of good stuff ready for you guys. We finally got Karen's green screen to work, as you can see.
Technical challenges. It's just good there's young people around to guide the way, to open the path, because otherwise...
That's fun. We have a comment from Nancy Haugen, if I'm pronouncing this.
Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
She says, "Hi, Karen. It's been a long time."
Yeah, a long time. 10 years to be exact. Can you believe
If only it was 10 years to the day. That'd be.
Nancy, are you in California or Virginia? Because I noticed you have a new job. Okay, they can't answer back.
They might. It might take a little. It might be a little bit of a delay. So.
Well, awesome. Okay.
Chris Castro likes this video. Thanks so much, Chris. Well, it is 3:00, so let's start jumping into it, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. My name is Andy Tilstra. I am with Karen Tilstra, Dr. Karen Tilstra, I should say, and we are the. And then Nancy responded in Virginia. We are the co-founders of Creativity Effect, Creative Consulting and Innovation LLC. We help companies with managerial innovation, which is how to make teams or help teams innovate and collaborate more effectively, based very much on Dr. Karen Tilstra's dissertation and expertise with Innovation Labs. So with that, I'll introduce to Dr. Karen Tilstra. She has helped create several innovation labs across the country, including the first innovation lab embedded in a healthcare system in Orlando, Florida, at Florida Hospital Innovation Lab. Human-centered design thinking innovation lab. Thank you. Not a R&D lab or a product lab. And she did that at Advent Health, which was then called Florida Hospital. And since then, she has created several other, or helped found and create several other innovation labs across the country, including in professional sports, such as with the Orlando Magic, in universities and public education, at San Diego University, at Rollins. Oh, hey, Richard. And she has helped in the public sector and the private sector, and that's where I've been helping her with that, with Orange County and Seminole County Health Department, as well as several healthcare systems in Illinois, Maine, including Florida. She recently finished one of her first manuscripts for a book, and it's called, correct me if I'm wrong, Karen, it is Overcoming Your Death Line and the 4 ACE Probes of Innovation, which that could be another webinar another day. But that's Karen, Dr. Karen Tilstra, and I'm very pleased to be here going over the idea lift with you guys with her today.
Right, and this Andy. Andy is a joy to work with, and he just recently, well, not recent, so 2 years, graduated from a University of Chicago in the social sciences and ethnography, which is really helpful in the innovation world. And we're just really excited to be here with you. And also, if you're a D&D person, Andy has a vibrant podcast with 3 other guys, and they have quite a following. So it's really exciting to see that grow. But we're really happy to have you here today and share with you some of the things we have found most helpful to people. There's many, many tools helping ideas become stronger and more expanded. But we chose 6 today because they are ones that oftentimes come up in all the work we've done with different places. And we just are really eager to share them with you. And these oftentimes are just, well, how I view them anyway, is good starting points. Take them, use them, tweak them, change them, however you want to do it. We might think they're original to us, but that's never the case, because when innovation and creative process, there's nothing new under the sun. Mm-hmm. And Richard will know this, but we'll think we invented something new, and nope, next thing we know, 3 weeks later, someone's doing it over there. So this is all probably, you might say, open source to the world, and we just have put them in the ways that are helpful to us. But mm-hmm. take them and use them, and however they can help you, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what are they, Andy? The 6.
Well, today, as Karen mentioned, the Idea Lift, I've posted in the chat to download the Idea Lift, go to this link. It's our website. If you just sign up real quick and just download the Idea Lift, it will be the 6 tools plus descriptions for them. And I'll be posting this throughout, as well as having this banner come up to help you guys go to that website. The Idea Lift, yes, how to take ideas to the next level. Karen did mention the 6 tools. Here they are right here. So Karen, there's a lot of text here. We're not going to read it verbatim for you guys. That's why if you download it, you can go through it more thoroughly. But with the
instructions,
So with these 6 tools, Karen, what are they? And just give us a brief synopsis over what we're going to be talking about.
Right, 6 tools that can be used in either specific ideation or idea generation sessions or in department meetings, whatever. Just use them however. But I want to point out Andy did the artwork for most of this, and Patrick O'Connor did some. I was one of the big thanks to that. So what we're going to touch on is beefing up the challenge, idea goals, idea sorting grid, critical debate, feedback grid, and then as always, we like to put in a reflection tool because we feel that without reflection, there is no learning. And people in the Western world, we need to learn how to reflect more and make it more a practice. So it's a very simple tool you can use in any setting that you have. Okay, those are the tips we're going to go over.
Thank you so much. And I'll be posting in the chat to the link, and as I'll be having this banner come up intermittently throughout. Again, it's just our website, creativityeffect.com/the-idea-lift/. Janelle in the chat right now is our third coworker. She's the one that keeps track of all of our websites and gets all this stuff running. So thank you, Janelle. A little shout out to you. So let's start moving into the first tool.
All righty. The beefing up your idea. So, Andy, can you go back just a second?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the keys when you're trying to get ideas better, stronger, bigger, before you even start getting new ideas, stop and think, why are you even doing it? This is a human problem that we have, or human challenge, is we tend to dive right into the solution. So the big question that you want to always ask, what's really going on? And so this tool helps you just take a second, or your team, you and your team, just take a second. And Andy designed this. So start in the middle, start here. What's your challenge? Or it could be opportunity too. What is that? And just take a second and write it down. Then move up the chart. Why does this challenge matter? Then what's the bigger context? Context is important. So for example, you have a challenge that you might be for your team. So why does it matter? But then what's the bigger context? What effect will that have going out? Maybe to the unit, to the to the whole organization. And then what new discoveries are needed? And this again is just a good question to ask. What don't we know? Do we even know what we don't know? And then going down, so this is just a high level type of touch point. What are our constraints on this? It's really good to ask that question because creativity thrives under constraints, as we know. So just ask, what are our constraints and what are the bigger contexts of the constraints? So, for example, maybe we needed to create a new education program without spending any money. What might that bigger context of those constraints actually mean? And then why does it matter? That I would like to invite you to take this, and if this wording doesn't work for you, just change it, just make it work. But stop for just a second and go over this before you start diving into ideas. It will help you think broader, deeper, wider, and also it'll get you out of your own head. And that's the big thing about ideas. We get married to our ideas, and therefore ideas oftentimes become smaller because we're married to them and we're protective of them. So this is a way just to go a little broader. So that's the beefing up your idea.
Mm-hmm. And just to reiterate, Dr. Tilstra, when would you use this and for what purpose would you use this tool?
I think this tool is helpful for any time you're having to come up with ideas, because we don't just come up with ideas for no reason. There's a challenge in front of us or an opportunity that we're trying to seek. And if we just take even 1 minute to review this, all of a sudden we've created more space for better thinking. And that's when we say beefing up your challenge. And so when I say challenge, I'm also meaning opportunity too. Mm-hmm. So it just takes a second. And also what's really good about this tool is it kind of on the side trains people to start asking these questions before they start coming up with ideas. Because I'm telling you, one of the, you know this too, a big challenge we have is people come up with ideas and they get stuck on them. And this just, again, helps create some space so our ideas can actually be they get to a higher level. They become more relevant and sustainable.
So this tool would be useful before brainstorming before ideating. It's understanding why you're brainstorming or why you're ideating.
Just a very simple example could be, say the your department has to put on some kind of fundraiser or a thank you event, or I'm just giving some simple examples. Just take a second and walk through this, and it'll make your event or idea or whatever opportunity much more relevant.
Awesome.
And get out of your own head. That's my big thing. Get out of your own head.
And that's beefing up the challenge. And then the next page, this is the just written description of how to use it. Again, we're not going to go over it today, but when you download it, we've just tried to articulate exactly how to use this tool. Again, any questions or concerns, email us or shoot us a question on our Facebook page. Now,
also, make it work for you. You can change it.
After we go over beefing up the challenge, that's when we start moving into the ideation realm, right? The brainstorming. So now we want to bring up this tool of ideation goals. So what is the goal of the ideation goals, Karen?
So again, brainstorming has gotten a really bad rap all these years. And so these tools are to help create space to overcome some of the concerns about brainstorming, ideation, or idea generation. Those three things mean the same thing. So if you're asking your group to come up with ideas, just bring this up on a screen or print it off and just review it with the people, because these are mindsets that just help people become better at accepting ideas, building on ideas. So they're easy too. So the first one, say yes and. Yes and means yes, suspend negative judgment, the one right below, and means add to what's happening. You don't have to agree with what's happening. Just stay in the conversation. It's very easy to bail out of a conversation when someone doesn't agree with you or shuts down your precious little idea. Then maybe you just shut down. Don't do it. Just keep adding to the conversation. And once you introduce a yes and mindset, it really frees the group. It's a very validating mindset to have. Yes and.
The next one plays very closely to the yes and attitude is suspend negative judgment. We wanted to reiterate this just to make sure how important it is that when you're ideating or brainstorming, it's very common for people to slip in and no, that can't work. Oh, that's a dumb idea. Oh, that's just completely out of question. We ask that with these goals, just suspend that for the moment, let the idea breathe for at least 15 seconds and see where it leads you. Because who knows, that could be the right way to go.
Champion your end user. So if you're in healthcare, remember the patient. If you're in universities, it's the student. If you're in a business, it's your customer. Champion the person you're serving. Don't forget about them in ideation. It's not about you. It's about your customer, end user.
Go for wild ideas. Now, we like to say, shoot for the moon, because if you miss, you'll land in the stars. So if you push the needle all the way over here, you may not get all the way, but you may push it just enough to get to a new place, a new spot, a new mode of thinking. So when we ideate, we ask for everyone to go for wild ideas. Try to go extreme.
And the best ideas are a little scary. And that's because when you're innovating something new or seeking an opportunity, you're going to a place that hasn't been gone before. And it's always a little scary. So remind your group that the best ideas are a little scary so they can embrace that concept.
Mm-hmm. Build on the ideas of others. You don't have to come up with anything new. Just add to what's already happening.
One conversation at a time. This is really important. So I say have a bell on hand that you can remind people when they start breaking off into little pairs of conversation. Because when you're in idea generation, it's really important that everybody contributes and everyone can hear what's going on. And so remind one conversation at a time. If you start to see people splittering off, just have a bell, ring it. I know it could be sappy or feel manipulative, but just do it anyway. Mm-hmm. It'll help.
And write it down, because if it hasn't been written down, it hasn't been heard. And if it hasn't been heard, it's going to be forgotten. So we like to say, write it down in a headliner type of way. What would you see on the top of a newspaper, top of an article? Write your idea down in that way in Sharpie, one idea per Post-it note, one idea per whatever you're using if it's a virtual space. Because if it hasn't written down, it has not been heard.
And be visual. You don't have to write. You can even do little sketches and draws. People love visual things. You don't have to be a Leonardo da Vinci. Just sketch something out.
And the last one, just have fun. Your idea generating, you're not looking to boil the ocean in this moment. You're just trying to generate 10 ideas. Just trying to generate 15 ideas, 20, 25, even 100 ideas. With 6, 7 people, that's only about 12 ideas apiece, and that's easy to do in about 5 minutes. So just have fun, just get the energy rolling, put on some music, get some chocolate out, maybe some popcorn, and just have a fun time.
And you can print this off. Again, we want to thank Andy Tilstra and Patrick O'Connor. They created this little poster for us. And just let this be known. Also, this is a great teaching tool, too. If you post it up or you bring it on your computer screen before you start getting ideas, it teaches people how they can act when idea generating, because not everyone knows that. We take a lot for granted, but this is helpful. We've had a lot of feedback on this that people, it's been helpful to them.
Mm-hmm. Next is the idea sorting grid. Now, Karen, when would we use this tool and why would we use it?
So this tool is used when you have several ideas, and it's helpful when you're getting ideas with a group. First off, I like to say, if you're trying to get an idea about something or you have an idea about something, go and ask more people. Ask them to feed in. So when you're trying to do something, maybe you have 5, 10, 12, 15 ideas. Try to do that for almost anything, any challenge or opportunity you're seeking. Then take these ideas and ask your team, or you could do it yourself, but I always think it's always better with more people.
Mm-hmm.
Sort your ideas. So this idea sorting grid is just very simple. We have found these categories to be very helpful for most people. Again, you can change them, take them, and just get the concept down about sorting your ideas. People love to sort ideas. You can always vote on them once you've sorted them. But so the first one, game changers. These are things that are going to change the game. Ideas that you think are going to change the game, put in that top left quadrant.
And by changing the game, do you mean really revolutionary or just extreme ideas, correct?
They're ideas that they'll just change the game for you. The umbrella, for example, was a game idea.
I should have known. And now the top right, that acronym, even though it looks kind of confusing, I'll zoom in on it just to give us a little bit more. It's been there, done that, but could do better. So these are the ideas that maybe have shown up before. Maybe they were the last innovation initiative's claim to fame. Maybe they were your old boss's favorite thing to say. Maybe it's something you've heard before but didn't click. The components were powerful, but the way they aligned or the timing of it just didn't really make sense. So these are those ideas that aren't necessarily game changers and aren't necessarily new, but if they were represented in a different way, repurposed, it could have a powerful effect. So that's the top right quadrant of been there, done that, but could do better.
And it also protects you from we tried that already. That'll never work. Things change. Sometimes they do work. The lower left quadrant, no-brainers. These are ideas that don't take any effort. And it's like, why aren't we doing it? We don't know. So let's start doing it. They take no effort, and basically they can just be done right now. They just need to be activated on. So the no-brainers.
And then bottom right is the parking lot. Now, this is an interesting quadrant. We like to say there's no such thing as a bad idea, but there may be a improper timing of an idea. Maybe the idea you came up with is just not going to fit in this challenge, in this issue. That's okay. No hard feelings. We have a parking lot on the idea sorting grid for it's a good idea, but it's not a good time. So
or it's too expensive or something like that.
Too expensive. There's something that's just allowing this idea to not be an effective one at this time. So just put in the bottom right quadrant of the parking lot. Maybe if the situation changes, or maybe in the future it will become an effective idea, or maybe those barriers to this idea will be removed, then just go back to the parking lot, grab the idea, and put it in the other three quadrants. But for those ideas that aren't useful at this exact moment, put them in the parking lot.
And this tool can be used in many settings, and people like it. It helps people feel accomplished when ideas are put out. And again, this also kind of encourages you to get more than one idea. And I always say the more ideas, the better, because it's going to just broaden your scope of what's possible. So this tool, I would say bring it to committee meetings or whatever. When you get ideas, just try to find as many ways as you could use it, because it actually will help you expand and get better ideas. So and people love it. People love sorting. It's funny. I've been humored by that.
And this is the written instructions for how to run through this tool. When you download it, this is what you'll get. Again, we'll be going over it just in spoken way today. You can have all four of the quadrants right here, and then step 2. So after you've done that, vote, all that good stuff.
Yep. Okay, the critical debate tool. I love this tool. Oh, sorry, Andy, did you want me?
No, I was going to say, when would we use this and why would we use this tool in the idea generation process?
So ideas get better when they're challenged and they're massaged. So there is a time that the critical debate, say you've already gone through some ideas, you come up with an idea. Say you just have one idea and maybe everyone loves the idea. Use it then. Maybe half the people love the idea. Use this tool at that point too. What it is, it's a way to say, here's our idea. As you see, write it down there, our idea. What's good about it? What's not good about it? And why? And then how can we strengthen the idea? Again, this is helps, it kind of saves us from ourselves. It helps us be not married to our ideas. It helps us to get out and seek feedback from people. And the critical debate is just a really helpful way to follow an ideation session, because in ideation session, as you know, we kind of said it twice on the poster, suspend negative judgment. This is a time we can go into now a more analytical, critical moment of what about that idea. And again, you can use this in many settings. And it's also very helpful for people to speak up who are hesitant to speak up. I didn't really like that idea, but I didn't want to say anything. So when you bring the critical debate out, everyone has an opportunity to say what they liked about it, what they thought, what was not so good. And it's a way to protect the people in the group who just were hesitant to speak up or who didn't feel their objections were valid. We want to seek any objection. And then again, it's, you don't just stop with the objection. Is once you have an objection, is how can we strengthen that? How can you take that objection and make it better? So again, this tool, take it and use it. And if you want to tweak it to make it work for you, because every culture is different. And so I think the critical debate is a extremely powerful way to save us from ourselves when we come up with an idea that we just think is awesome. And then you put this out and say, oh, it needs a few tweaks that we didn't see. Anyway, yeah.
That's very interesting, Karen, or Dr. Tilstra, is when you say, don't be fooled by a great idea, because it's true. Maybe the people in the room just think it's great, but when it gets out into public, something happens. So this is kind of like a temperature check, or maybe like a calibration tool to make sure that idea is as foolproof as you think it is.
And also, when you actually push the critical debate and say we'd like everyone to contribute, everyone to give what's something that's good about this idea and something that could be better, it helps protect from people feeling they have to agree with a boss. If a boss came up with an idea, and when it comes into innovation and creative thinking, you want all ideas matter, all thoughts about it when you're going to roll something out, either solving a problem or seeking an opportunity. And this just, people get energized by this too, because you really want me to say? Yeah, this is what I think.
You mean I can say why I don't like your idea?
Right. But the good thing is that how can we strengthen the idea? Don't just stop with the criticisms. Now what do we do? It's kind of a next step. And again, tweak it to make it work for you. But there's a lot of research on debating ideas, and it's a good thing. Okay, the feedback grid comes in another time. Say you have an idea. You want to just find out what people think about it. This feedback grid can be used in many kinds of settings. And it's really helpful because people oftentimes don't know how to give feedback. It's like, oh yeah, that's great. Or I like it. Or they just bombast you right out of the water. Like, that's a terrible idea. The feedback grid, and Richard can validate this. We've used this many, many times, and we've had lots of feedback that it's helpful in many settings. So what is the feedback grid? It's presented to people. You're asking feedback. And remember, there's no such thing as bad feedback. Feedback is just simply information, and it's your lifeline. So, and when people give you feedback, all you have to do is say thank you. You don't have to defend your idea, because you want feedback. You want to hear. So the top left quadrant, what'd you love about the idea?
The top right is, what would you change? What are some things that could be done differently or tweaked in a way to make it more effective?
What new ideas does this idea inspire? So you want to hear that too, because it's like building on an idea.
The bottom right is, what questions do you have? What is unclear, or maybe what isn't answered by this idea? And
again, you can use this in many, many settings, and it helps what I also like about this, all these tools actually help teach people how to think in a more creative way, or how to actually get more competence in the innovation practice. And when people see this, like, hey, wow, that helps me a lot. If you're asking me to give feedback, they don't have to fill out all 4, but just it just gives them a place to go, because people really do sometimes are afraid to give feedback, but might want to give it. This is a great tool for that.
All right.
There's our instructions.
And now the last tool, the Think, Pair, Share reflection tool. Again, Karen, what is this tool? In the idea generation process, when would we use it?
So you could use it before or after, because when you're asking people to ideate, or you are presenting an idea that you have, having people to reflect is really a powerful thing. And the Western world is not geared towards a lot of reflection. And so this is just a way to help people reflect. And we've had a lot of experience with helping people learn how to reflect. And afterwards we'll say, wow, that was so helpful. Thank you. We could write a comedy scene around, or a comedy sketch around this whole thing. Because it's like, reflect. Okay, what's that mean exactly? Reflection is the time that learning happens. Without reflection, there's really no learning. And so you want to give people an opportunity to reflect on what, if you took them through an ideation session, or you asked them to partake in any of these tools. If it was your team, just take a moment. This could be 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So what this is this comes out of education. This is a tool that's used often in learning theory. First, there's 3 stages to this. You can use any one stage by itself. You can use 1 and 2. You can use 1 and 3. You can use 2 and 3. You can do the whole thing. So we're presenting this tool because it's really, I think, a high-level reflection tool. So ask the people. You finish maybe an idea session, or at the end of a committee meeting, maybe. Ask people just to think, just alone, silently, what did they gain out of this? What's some thoughts they had, some new insights? Then have them turn to somebody and share that. And then ask the whole group, who wants to share what you had? Almost always 2 or 3 people will share. Everyone doesn't share. I've never seen that happen, but 2 or 3 people will share. And it's a way to close off a really powerful session, or it's a really great way to start also. Again, take this, tweak it, make it work for you. But I would encourage you, when it comes to ideas and building ideas and strengthening ideas, give people a chance to reflect. It's therapeutic, it's cathartic, it's helpful. And it took me a while to realize this, as we've worked with many, many groups. Oftentimes people will come up and say, that reflection was cool. I learned something. Or another thing that happens in reflection, I have an idea. I thought of something, but I thought it was just me. Oh, they had that same idea. Wow, that was validating. Or I had a question about something, or it just is a validating experience that helps us become more competent in the whole creative thinking world. Anyway, those are our 6 tools. Take them, tweak them, make them work for you.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Karen, for going over that with us. Again, bottom of the screen, you can see, to download the Idea Lift, go to www.creativityeffect.com/the Idea Lift. Is that a / or a backslash? I always mix those up.
I can't quite see it on my screen.
Well, I'll just say / the Idea Lift / I can post in the chat.
Moving backwards. What way is it going?
I don't know. Is it from bottom up? Anyways,
but
this has been.
I want to just say one more thing. What I love about all the tools that we presented, they build community. And that's really what you want. When you're trying to get ideas to be relevant and sustainable for your environment, you want community. You want people to feel free. They can weigh in and add. And people care about what they help create, and they're responsible when they care. So these tools help build that. There's many other tools. These are just 6 we chose that seem to help, that are easily understood, and people help, or they help people. It seems that they were ones that we often used, or you are using. Anyway, we're so happy you joined us. We hope it was helpful.
Yeah. Again, my name is Andy Tilstra. I am one of the co-founders of Creativity Effect with Dr. Karen Tilstra.
And my son, just in case you were wondering if it's a coincidence. We have
right. I see Karen Akey is in the chat, so she's familiar. another cousin of ours. But we have been going over the idea lift today. It is 6 tools that we have put together to help any idea reach new heights. Thanks so much for joining us today, guys. Again,
and if you want to have our little booklet we made, just give us your email and we'll send it to you.
Awesome. And in the description of this video, I'll put the link. I'll put the link one more time in the chat. Again, if you just go to our website, creativityeffect.com, you can find all of the wonderful stuff that Janelle has helped us make. And also, please just reach out if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you need help facilitating, if you need help consulting your team to get to higher places of innovation and creativity, reach out to us. You can go to our Creativity Effect Facebook page, our website, or you can just email us, or I think we have a WhatsApp on the Facebook page as well.
We're so happy you joined us. Thank you so much. And onward and forward to good ideas made better.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We will talk to you hopefully later.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.